Hello, and welcome to the Black Dice Society, episode 21. Tatiana, it's been an eventful few days. And as you are walking across the grounds of the carnival, your mind sort of idly wandering about, wondering when you're going to be able to unleash your kukri on a worthy opponent once again. And you notice it's gotten dark. Black dark.
What is this? What? This is not the time of day it should be. Is anyone there?
Give me a perception check.
Dice are way. Dave. So remember when I told you if I rolled a natural one, that I'd tell you?
The only other thing that I can rely on more consistently than Nahara's Taroka cards are your dice. As you rotate your head around, your shadow is looking at you, eye to eye.
There is no light source. What are you doing here?
It reaches out and grabs you by the throat.
Release me! I reach for my kukri.
You reach down, and it's not there. It's on the ground, about 6 feet away from you.
I reach for my other kukri.
It also is not there. It's on the ground 6 feet in the other direction. And the shadow continues choking you and leans in very close to your face.
What are you doing? You are me. You are mine. You must listen to my will.
You disappoint me, young warrior. Shall I intervene on your behalf?
Whose voice is that?
Lord Soth.
You again. I need no help from you. Do not waste my time. I can do this. It is my will that will make it so. And Tatiana is going to wild shape into the squirrel that she met before.
Immediately, you into a squirrel. And the hand of your shadow looks very confused for a second and shoots down to a squirrel itself and just looks like your normal shadow.
It just looks like a normal shadow of a squirrel?
Mm-hmm.
I would like to scamper up the nearest tree and get a vantage point.
As you scamper away, you hear,
That is a tactic I would not have thought of.
and out of the trees, you see Soth. He stands towering. Purple plume on his kettle helmet, red burning eyes inside, and the faded rose on his chest. And his sword is in the sheath as he leans down and picks up one of his kukris. You are fascinating. I'm aware that I'm frozen, y'all. I'll try and fix it when we roll the intro video.
You are fascinating, Tatiana. I still look forward to our glorious battle, but I did not anticipate it being with a squirrel.
I furiously chitter back at him.
Come, reveal yourself, Janasi. I have not come to destroy you today.
I wild shape back, but I am in the tree, and so I'm just sprawled over the branch, limbs hanging off on all sides.
He looks up at you and he says,
Good. I sensed your powers had increased. I needed to see with my own eyes.
and he slings your kukri and it flies straight through the air and just lodges in the branch right next to your hand.
Are you going to throw the other one?
Ah, so you do require my assistance.
He just motions and the other one flies off the ground and up and sticks in the tree.
Without flinching, Tatiana grabs them out of the branch and puts them back into their leg holsters and sits up on the branch. Why are you so obsessed with me?
I think you've seen by now this land is cold and dull and unchanging. You have a warrior's heart, a fire I would like to see properly kindled until it is extinguished.
Okay, that is weird. Yes, you want to have me underneath you, you be my liege. I fight for you. I've heard it all before. I've fought for banners before, and I am always the favorite prize fighter. But this until you expire business? What is that?
I have no interest in your servitude, Tatiana.
Well, that is the first.
Am only interested in you achieving your full potential, again ahead of your own glorious demise.
I can never trust you until I understand why your intentions are thus.
There was a time that my life was defined by honor. I have not completely forgotten the old ways of doing things, but that is not why I have come to speak with you today.
Come down
All right.
from that tree. If I meant you harm, it would be in flames.
I'm not in the tree because I'm afraid. I am in tree because I just did something really cool. She says to herself as she starts climbing down. Or actually, she sort of does like a very trapeze artist kind of flip around the tree before landing in a squat, standing up in front of him.
He stands towering over you because you're squatted down. Even when you're standing, he's taller than you, which is not something you're very accustomed to.
Do you recall the night we met why I was there?
You were looking for something, is right?
I was the Raven Crown.
I do not have this raven crown.
No, but soon I have foreseen you will be on the trail of it. I have come to make a simple offer.
I am listening.
When you find its location, reveal it to me, and you will be freed from my curse, as well as the other one that has marred your soul. And I do not think you've begun to realize the true scope of what has been done to you.
How do you know what has been done to me? Why is my shadow trying to fight me?
He leans in like he's about to say something to you, and you see the lights in his helmet begin to light up more, and you're back in the carnival.
What? I didn't agree. Where did you go? She takes out her kukri and starts slashing at the air around her.
First,
There you are.
Well, let's see if this worked without breaking it for everyone, as I think it might have. Brother
You
Uriah,
look beautiful.
I don't know why on occasion Zoom is like, but what if you didn't have video? Have you thought about that? Yeah. So at least it was snapped back quickly. Brother Uriah, you see Tatiana draws her kukris and begins looking around frantically out of nowhere.
Tatiana, are you all right?
No, I'm not all right. Where he go?
Where did who go?
Big plume, purple, armor, roses, Soth.
Soth? He was...
Catch him. You have to catch him for me. We'll tie him up and ask him questions. He knows so much.
You may have been having a nightmare, I think. Or...
It's not a nightmare. I turned into a squirrel. He threw my knives at me in the tree. My shadow strangled me. It was real life.
That sounds very much like a nightmare.
No, I was... A nightmare. You are not as powerful as I am in life. I know the feeling.
Well, in any case, if it was actually a visitation from Soth, I believe it occurred solely in your mind, not in the physical world. You've just been lying there, tossing fitfully, and then you started slashing fitfully.
I might have, It might be true.
Did you say you turned into a squirrel? Can you do that now?
Well, I was talking to Desmond a while ago, and it seems when I reach out to the powers of natural world and trust in it, well, I can do amazing things.
I'll be honest. If you were going to turn into anything, I would have thought it would be something a bit more fierce, perhaps an ice bear or some manner of rampaging beast. But a squirrel, that's nice. That's,
okay, but if Ice Bear is fighting Ice Bear's shadow, Ice Bear can strangle other Ice Bear.
Your shadow, was it giving you trouble again?
Well, yes. Uriah, can I ask a professional opinion of man of faith?
Oh, yes, of course. Do you wish me to try to remove your curse? I have been studying the holy texts of Ezra, and I believe that I could eliminate, shall we say, a more pedestrian curse. I'm not sure if the death curse of a spectral hag is really in my wheelhouse, as it were, but I could try.
Uriah, why didn't you mention before? Yes, take out curse. Then I don't have to make deal with Soth.
Well, as I say, there are curses, and then there are curses. There's the typical everyday curse. It's your milk goes sour, that sort of thing. Your shadow coming to life and trying to murder you on a fairly consistent basis is that might be something else altogether. But of course,
Uriah, you can
try.
do it. I've seen you do so many powerful things. I've seen you. You said you can bring back from the dead our friends.
I can within a very limited time frame, and with the diamonds, we have those. But yes, sit, make yourself comfortable. As I say, no promises.
I think are we kind of just on the grounds of the carnival and just sort of outside? Okay. Oh.
With my observant 22.
I also have 22.
That's
No.
a bit
I
odd.
rush to her and I flip the body over and I start doing, I don't know, what was the CPR before that was a thing?
I'm not sure she actually needs to breathe, Tatiana. I'm not sure that's.
I just start shaking her. Valentine, no, wake up, Valentine. Oh, I don't know if chat can hear you.
Have they been
Just
able to
put
hear
that
me?
in chat.
No.
Were they not able to hear any of that?
Well, it was mostly Uriah and I, but yeah.
They missed the details about Valentine.
Oh, fantastic. Because of course they did. Wait, were you all able to hear when it was just me and Tatiana?
Yeah, we heard you, but I don't think chat did.
I looked right at the screen and it was,
No, I know that was a long time. I think when we changed camera angles, it changed.
They said now they can, I guess. Yeah, now they could hear you.
None of it?
Wait, important point of clarification, y'all. And sorry, audio listeners. Could you hear when it was just me and Tatiana?
We need to know this.
Yes, this is kind of important. I can't
We
see.
heard you when it, okay, they heard
Okay.
us.
Great. It was
I
only
was
when we
like-
switched.
Okay.
Well,
That
you
was
are
a weird
correct.
performance art they thought they were watching.
That was. Hey, we're very into experimental D&D. Yes, that was mostly Uriah and Tatiana. The only thing I said is that they found Valentine lying face down on the ground of the tent, not sitting up like she usually is during the night. And when Tatiana rolled her over, her eyes were full chalky white with the black liquid running out of both of her eyes. And then I said, hello and welcome to the Black Dice Society, episode 21, True Love is Like Ghosts. Again, this is Ravenloft. This is a horror game. As such, we might hit on content that is not what you would encounter in most standard D&D games. Some of it might be unsettling. Some of it might be disturbing. As always, we have our safety tools in place. I'm aware of the cast lines and veils, and they have a way to let me know if something is wrong, like no one be able to hear me. So if a scene should suddenly switch, possibly even switch mid-sentence, maybe it's because we tripped over something and someone was uncomfortable with it. But consider that your content warning. And with that firmly in mind, let us meet our cast. Beginning with our fair Air Genasi, Tatiana.
Fair is a strange word for Tatiana. Yes, she's beautiful, but only because of her strength and the bear totem on her chest. Air Genasi Barbarian. Let's see. Recently also Druid. And as you saw from that wild shape, and me, I'm Becca Scott. You can find me at the Becca Scott. And just a quick little announcement. If you like actual plays, you should check out dropout.tv because last night was the drop of the 7, the latest Dimension 20 campaign of which I am a part, and it's pretty cool. It was very fun. Okay, that's me.
Brother Uriah.
Hello, I'm Mark Meir. I use he, him pronouns, as does my character, Brother Uriah Macabre, cleric of the grave and worshipper of Ezra, Lady of the Mists.
And Nahara.
Hello, everyone. I'm Nora Ibrahim. My pronouns are she, her, as well as my character. And in the Mists, I play Nahara. Nahara is a Taroka deck-wielding, reborn, fallen Azamar, undead bardlock, and just sunshine and rainbows and totally not vengeful at all.
Super happy fun time. Speaking of sunshine and rainbows and not vengeful at all, Finn.
Wow, the violence. What Dave is it that Dave doesn't wake up and choose violence?
You're right.
I usually get that first message in the morning, and it's violence. I should know better.
It's
Hi,
true.
I'm Tanya. I play Fen, your drowned up here. Blood hunter with a little bit of the beast in her. Fen's pronouns are she, her, as well as mine. And my quick thing is tomorrow, Epic Infernal Goose Chase benefiting Jasper's Game Day and StackUp.org over at D&D Beyond Twitch channel, starting at 2 p.m. Pacific. So I'm running some players through hell, including Todd Stashwick. So I am looking forward to that.
I've run that game. It is literally being run through hell. No, I've been in. You have run that game for me. That is an apt description of what happens in the game. Yes. Desmond.
Oh, hi. I'm DJ Knight. You can find me at DJ Knight pretty much everywhere on the internet. In the Mists, I play Desmond, a human ranger lycanthrope who just, likes to wreck things on occasion, but he's a nice soul. Our pronouns are he, him, and you're awesome. Thanks for being here.
And last but not least, our special guest, Nika.
Hey everyone, I'm V Muse. You can find me pretty much everywhere on the socials as V Muse. And tonight I am returning as Nika Naprstayanka, the Eladrin Druid.
Perfect.
And, undead.
Let's see. Hang on. I'm going to raise my audio a little bit. It's bouncing over here on OBS. So I think even though I'm going to raise it, somebody else is going to be like, oh my God, it's too loud. So here we go. All right.
Rip ears, Dave.
There we go.
Rip
Just
ears.
a little
It
bit.
was
Yeah,
fun before.
it's up into the red now. So there you go. I don't know. Yeah. As always, thank you to our sponsors, starting with Die Hard Dice. I think all of our custom character palettes are sold out now, except for our standard Black Dice Society set, which is the black with the gold lettering, which is super dope. And you also can just use code BDS to get all kinds of dope things at dieharddice.com. So check that out. Our TeePublic store is live. As you know, we have mugs, masks, pillows, bags. Those of you that have seen me in person now know I rock my Black Dice Society mask everywhere. True story, I dropped this mug like a few days ago, and it was that moment where it's falling in slow motion that I'm like, oh no, and not a scratch on it. So I think I just got very lucky, but apparently it's very well constructed. All of that's available on our TeePublic store now. Secret Lab chairs. I love mine. I spend more time here than anywhere but my bed. It's like riding around on the couch. They just released a couple new models. Check that out, including a new desk too. It's really cool. That link's going to be in chat. We have our Idle Champions codes. I'm being told that maybe the code was not updated. I passed along the new code. Hopefully it got dropped into chat. If not, it will. We definitely have a code this week. It's going to be showing up if it hasn't already. Thank you to our friends at Beadle & Grimm's with the new Van Richten's Guide Deluxe boxes. Also, all the props that you see a lot of us using came out of the Curse of Strahd box. Nahara's Taroka deck and the medallion and a few other things you've seen us flash out here out of our Beadle and Grimm sets. Super dope. Take a look at that. Of course, we still have our museum quality art prints. If you type exclaim BDS art in chat, you'll see it from Adam Schubert, our wonderful artist. And a percentage of all of these will be donated to World Builder to help end global hunger. So you can have something dope while doing something dope.
Also, thanks to Cypher for sending me mine for my birthday early. I appreciate that.
Yes, that is true. We've all got them. I think almost all of us have them now. We have a Patreon. You can get early access to our podcast, our exclusive weekly after show, our custom side adventures. Right now, we have the Finn side adventure up for free for everyone. I shared that link last week. I'll share it again tonight. There was an evening with Finn and Isolde where a lot of very important things are revealed. So watch that one and pay very close attention to some of the things that are said there. But we also had the boys' night out with Desmond and Brother Uriah. We had one with Nahara and King Aslan Rex, and Tatiana's original adventures with Lord Soth. So if you want to understand the root of their relationship, all of those up on our Patreon, patreon.com/The Black Dice Society. And with all of that in mind, let's get on with our show. All of you awaken to the sound of Tatiana screaming Valentine's name. Nahara, you are snapped out of that familiar falling. Desmond and Finn, you wake up to her panicking, holding her friend's body on the ground.
Help! Everyone, help, please! Valentine, she tells us when she goes somewhere on purpose.
Let me have a look. I'll see if I can do anything for her. I mean, most of my training is with, living patients, but perhaps I'll attempt a medicine roll. Ooh, okay, that is a 26 on medicine.
Valentine's physiology is confusing at the best of times, Brother Uriah. She is alive, but she isn't. She's dead, but she isn't. The source of this black liquid, you've never quite understood it, but as far as you can tell, nothing's wrong with her. She's not hurt. She's just unconscious.
There's no visible injuries. Of course, she doesn't have a pulse because she normally doesn't have a pulse. And,
Yes, that's all normal,
Yes.
but why is she, her eyes are closed?
Well,
Did you know
this
that
might
they-
be more of a mystical thing. Nahara, do you have any insight into this condition?
She beats me. We're a bit different, but let me try. And I will cast message and see if I hear anything in there. Valentine, can you hear me?
Nahara, you hear a very, very faint reply. The way message works is it's like you whisper in someone's ear and they whisper back to you. You do hear something, but it is very far away.
You know, I can't say what it is, and I can faintly hear something, but maybe it was the same thing like with Isolde. How she does that look similar, like her state? Does that look similar?
Looks very similar. But when you saw her doing this with Isolde, again, she sat upright. And you, Nahara, especially know that even when you were during your period of rest, when for you, you're falling, as Valentine has shared with you, she sees that unblinking eye in the sky, you're aware of your surroundings. You all are never completely disconnected from reality. So the fact that she seems shut off is unusual.
I mean, I feel like she's in there somewhere, but something's off. Something's not right.
Do I think a lesser restoration might prove efficacious?
I would say with your medicine of 26, she does not seem to be under the influence of any of the things you know a lesser restoration would help with.
I don't know what we can do for her except to make her comfortable. If her mind has gone wandering from her physical form, perhaps we merely wait for it to return.
You think it is okay?
As I
Desmond,
say, she doesn't...
Oh, sorry, I thought Desmond was going to say something. I apologize.
As I say, she doesn't appear physically injured, and I can't
Right.
seem to detect any mystical reason for it either. But we do know that Valentine has certain powers of the mind, and one of those might be to free her mind from her form.
She
I
doesn't
think she'll
seem to be in danger, but
Okay, but why not tell us where's she going? I mean, if you're
does
going
she
for
ever
mind
do that?
vacation-
She never really does that. She just really runs off.
She
We'll
does
find
me
out about it
things.
later.
She tends to keep us in the dark, yes.
She tells me all kinds of. We are best friends. She tells me things.
To be fair, don't we all just kind of like go do our thing on occasion?
I never do my thing without Valentine.
Also, you don't remember going to see the shopkeep
Look,
after we
let's-
got back? And
Let's
then,
get her
you
up.
know,
Let's get her up.
This
off
is
the
not
ground,
a time to
shall we?
argue.
It's
Yes.
it's
Not a
for
time
me,
to
it's not
argue.
an argument. I just want to throw it out there. This looks exactly like, as Nahara mentioned, what happened when she went into Isolde's mind. If we don't know how to fix it, our only choice here is to wait. We don't know where she went. We don't know who she went into. If she went into someone, maybe she even went into herself. Since we don't know, standing around talking about it, I don't think that's going to do us any good.
Well, let's get her up off the floor at least. Tatiana, could you help me? get her onto-
Tatiana pauses a minute just to look at each of you in the eye to try and suss out.
Valentine, you in these brains?
No, Valentine's not in our brain.
Okay, well, I didn't know till I ask.
Do you honestly think that Valentine would just jump in someone's head that way?
I have boundaries.
I said Valentine, not you.
No, I meant I'm just not gonna let somebody in my brain that easily. Boundaries.
Yeah, same. I never let things in my brain.
She's still on the floor. Let's put her on the bed, shall we?
Oh, sure.
I pick her up like a sack of potatoes and lay her gently.
Oh yes, that will do. That will do.
Now, I could be crazy, but I feel like there's a thing that doesn't she have like some person entity that hops into her head every now and then that we like have heard from?
She does seem to have conversations with.
Yes, and
The cat. One time it saved my life.
My uncle, Firan Zalhonen, he was talking to someone else inside her skull, he said.
Oh, Tregram.
Yeah.
I have spoken to that cat once on occasion.
The moment you say the words Tregram, Finn, Valentine's lips start to move faintly. And after a moment, you hear, "Oh dear, this is quite unusual. Hello?
Hello?
I'm sorry, it's very funny hearing your voice out of her mouth.
That's not Valentine. What are you?
You are correct. I am not, Miss Valentine.
It's awful.
I don't quite understand how to manipulate these gooey, muscular vocal cords either, so we're all just making the best of this as we can, right?
Can you...
Sure, I'll give you guidance on that.
Can you see us? Your Valentine's eyes are a bit clouded over.
When you say that, Valentine's body rocks up, but it is very unnatural. Like it is being manipulated by some other force. And he goes, oh dear, how on earth do you all balance on these two spindly legs?
You better be careful with that body, cat.
It's about finding your center of balance.
Or I will have my shadow come kill you.
Oh, yes, you would harm Valentine to prevent me from harming Valentine. Yes,
Oh no.
It's,
No. Can I just push your head up?
Thank you, Nahara.
Are you in physical discomfort? You're not... The body isn't injured, is it?
No, although this is objectively awful. I just come bringing a message from Miss Valentine.
Really?
All right.
Out with
I'm
it.
just like literally holding up.
You are, because it like very much
Valentine's
like leans forward on you, and it's like, I can't, I'm not, I have no, okay, I'm not supposed to tell you where she is or what she's doing, which I think should not come as a surprise to any of you, but I do have her permission to bring her along so that you're not delayed. She said something about finding Nika.
Nika?
Oh, yes.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Excuse me, Tregram, I just want to clear something up. You're a cat? Did someone say you're a cat?
I myself am not a cat, no. However, I have found it useful to have a certain visual projection on occasion that does in fact look like a cat. I went on quite the adventure with Miss Finn just yesterday. That was something, wasn't it?
Finn? What is this person talking about?
You remember when we were when Valentine tried to help Isolde?
Yes.
And I touched Nepenthe, and suddenly I was there with Valentine and Tregram as a cat.
Right. Well, from our perspective, you all just suddenly stopped moving, and I didn't see a cat. You'll have to fill us all in later, but Tregram, is it?
It's all very complicated, yes.
Tregram, so you normally reside in Valentine's mind. Am I understanding this correctly?
In a manner of speaking, yes. It's my job to keep Miss Valentine safe, whatever that entails.
I thought that was Stuart's job.
Is there anyone else in there?
When you say I thought that was Stuart's job, you all hear in your minds simultaneously. Clearly, it is a job for a number of guardians.
Yes, Valentine seems to have quite the entourage.
Okay, well, I am obviously most powerful of all protectors of Valentine.
Obviously.
You could invest in like a breastplate or some armor.
Well, I think we're missing the point, and she stands up very oddly.
Okay.
That's extremely disconcerting. Off-putting, yes.
I will get the hang of it. No, don't worry about me. She didn't want you all to delay waiting for her or feel like you needed to return.
I just want a mage hand, like every once in a while.
When you start doing this, you notice another mage hand appears. And does kind of like help right her and kind of like hold her neck to keep her head looking forward.
Whose mage hand is that?
Who do you think?
Okay, you could just answer directly.
Very good, Stuart.
Wait, isn't Stuart in a jar?
Stuart is in a jar.
I didn't know he could do it.
Stuart can cast mage hands. Stuart can do lots of things.
Yes, Stuart. Your capabilities continue to surprise and alarm us.
I assure you, that is by design.
Thank you for not trying to kill us this time. That feels good.
Yes.
You are quite welcome. As I said, I have endeavored to be more precise.
And we appreciate that, surely.
We do. We really
I
do.
think it's because you like us now. Stuart, I think you like us.
Have we grown on you, Stuart?
Arm just like whips out a little and kind of pats you, Tatiana. It's like, now. Don't antagonize pure Stuart. He's had a rough go of things as of late. But
It is true, but we were going to find Veronica. I think we will find her, yes?
Yes,
I want to go
as I
without Valentine.
If I might
pull out that.
If I might have you all's permission, I think it's going to take everything I've got just to keep walking, so please don't rely on me too terribly much.
So yes, you're unable to access Valentine's abilities or whatever abilities you have on your own. Is that what I'm hearing?
I believe Miss Valentine would be quite cross if I were to do anything other than ambulation, and to be quite honest with you, I don't necessarily trust my aim right now.
Oh, yes, of course.
That's fair.
Well, you said
Appreciate that.
on our way. I assume that means we're bound for Mordent.
I have
At
a
long
thought.
last. Yes?
Tatiana, you could carry Valentine like you carry Stuart.
Put her in baby cradle on my body?
On her back, on your back.
It may
because
get in
waiting-
the way of my newfound powers.
Well, put
Oh,
her
yes.
down before you do anything. I meant just getting to where we're going.
Oh, in that case, yes, we can swaddle you. Valentine will not like this, but
It's all right, Fen. I think that Tregram seems to be getting the hang of it. You're actually doing a lot better than you were.
If anybody asks, we'll just say that she's had a few.
Yes.
A lot. That's a lot.
It is, but, being polite.
Like
and all.
drinking with Ermos.
That's right.
So,
It's
too strong.
She lost a bet.
Fortunately, from what I've heard, alcoholism is quite common in Mordent. Keeps the night's chill away and all that. But if we are
like-
going there,
I feel like a lot of this won't pass the muster when people who know us and know that she doesn't eat or drink would kind of think into it. But I feel like we're in the midst. We've dealt with a lot of weird stuff. but I'm just gonna sprinkle it out there. Aren't we on the way to go and try to save Nika? Like,
One moment, Uriah.
Yes?
Before we discovered Valentine, you were about to remove all the curses, which you just happened to remember you could do.
Well, as I say, the new abilities which I have gained access to will enable me to dispel the garden variety curse, but I'm thinking that what you are under is something much more powerful. Lord Soth himself, and as I mentioned, the death curse of a spectral hag.
That hag was not that powerful looking. She was old and wrinkled and wizened.
Yes,
I
but
feel like you
Nahara.
can do it.
The moment Tatiana says out loud, that hag was not that powerful, your Taroka deck begins to warm up in your hand.
What?
Perhaps disparaging the hag that cursed you is not the wisest of moves.
Nonsense. I will lay down. And I lay on the bed. Valentine was just dead. Do it your worst.
Oh, that seems very impractical advice in the mist.
Yes, Dragon, you'd rather astute. Very well.
Am I like terrified of this thing real quick? Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't go ahead. I didn't know that you were.
No, actually, before he starts casting the spell, you see Uriah glances over at Nahara, and he can see her holding the deck. Perhaps we should.
It's like the deck is humming, Nahara, and you are certain it's when Tatiana said something bad about the hags that it leapt to life.
I wouldn't. I just wouldn't.
No?
It's more powerful than you would imagine. I know, Tatiana, you have a lot of pride and you're very strong and you're very brave and you're very powerful, but there's some areas in which we don't want to upset.
I think Nahara's probably correct. There's
Well, you can try, can't you?
But don't you understand? There's every chance I could make things worse for you by attempting to undo the curse with magic that's not powerful enough.
That's impossible. You can't make curse worse.
You clearly have not learned anything in your time in the mist, Tatiana. I apologize. I have to keep so much to myself, and Valentine is always shushing me, but I'm sorry.
Do you have some insight into what's afflicting Tatiana, Tregum?
No.
You paused for a long time.
I'm making an insight roll.
No.
Okay, that's pretty good. All right, so I get a plus 10 on that, so that is a 26.
Tregram absolutely knows more than he's letting on.
Tregram, I sense that you're being somewhat less than truthful with us, and since you are physically incarnated with us at the moment, anything that harms the group could directly harm you.
Well, I don't know that direct honesty is really in all that high of a supply in these lands. I assure you, I don't know anything that would help liberate Miss Tatiana, or Valentine would have required me to reveal it quite some time ago. I will just say, I believe that you are both correct, Nahara and Uriah. The chances of you making it worse far outweigh the chances of making it better. Apologies for my snicker. I just wanted to see what would happen.
Fine. Tatiana grabs up her kukris and all of her fighting implements and throws her armor over her shoulder and marches out the tent.
Oh, excuse me. What was that?
Perhaps you're cursed.
I don't breathe, so I don't know what that... Sorry.
Well,
excuse me.
Maybe you're allergic to curses.
Possibly. It's a possibility.
You know, it's fascinating because I've wondered about that. You and Valentine don't actually need to breathe, but obviously you do breathe because you're talking, and you'd need to pass air through your vocal cords in order to do so. So you do.
Or else you'll sound like Stuart.
It is quite unpleasant.
Yes. Anyway, if we are bound for Mordent, I suppose we should prepare. Nahara, you have what you require to bring us there?
Yes, I do have this handkerchief that belonged to her.
Right. Desmond, you have... That's some very nice studded leather armor, Desmond. I hadn't noticed you. Did you just get that?
I did. There was a booth at the carnival that had it, and I needed to upgrade, so I figured now would be a good time. So thank you for noticing. I appreciate it.
Oh no, it's
Nice.
very, very nice, very flashy actually. Well,
Thank you.
I have everything I require. Does everyone else?
You hear a frustrated sigh from outside the tent.
Tatiana? was that a harumph or a humph?
Mm-hmm.
I think it's yes.
Diana?
I'm ready. Let's go.
All right.
All right.
When you all make your way, you open the tent right outside. You see Isolde standing there.
Oh, hello.
Could I?
Could you?
Oh yes.
I
Sorry.
was just gonna. Go ahead.
No,
Yes,
go ahead.
it's Nahara.
Oh, I just wanted to minor illusion that Valentine's eyes look normal, but it very much looks like somebody drew a Sharpie in for eyeballs. But the black goo isn't there. Like it just.
You do see Tregrum kind of shambling towards the opening of the tent as Valentine and sees Isolde over there and flops back around inside the tent on the other side of the flap and is like, maybe I shouldn't. And yes, Finn.
Now, I was just gonna ask Uriah, why are you yelling? It's just Isolde.
Oh yes, I know, and I know we've had more pleasant dealings recently, but she did nearly gut me with Nepenthe upon our first meeting. So seeing her suddenly is a bit startling.
I told you, Uriah.
Yes, I know. I'm sorry. I don't mean to. Yes.
You do notice
It's okay.
she does have Nepenthe back on her person, but it is in the sheath. And she looks at you all and she says, "So you are about to depart for Mordent, then?"
Yes.
I have not forgotten the assistance that you all lended me, and the assistance I promised in return. I just wanted to remind you all of the nature of Mordent. Are you clear on the place and how it functions?
I've heard that it's a place of the restless dead, unquiet spirits that wander in the night. And moreover, that they add to their number. Any who perish there become one of their legion.
Yes. Any who meet their death in Mordent are trapped there for all time. They have an odd way of doing things, the living there. They prefer to do things the way they've always been done. Oftentimes, this may end up functioning to the detriment of travelers, so be mindful of how you conduct yourselves, and especially, and she turns and looks right at you, Tatiana, be mindful of your tongue.
I am always mindful.
From inside the tent, you hear...
Isolde, I've also, of course, know that Ezra is worshipped in Mordent, and, well, it is the home of the original church.
I have no head for such things, but I have heard similarly, yes.
Yes. Well, if Ezra is strong there, then she shall watch over us. Thank you for all your assistance.
She reaches in her pocket and she pulls out a handful of gold tickets. And she says, Nahara, I know you possess one of these to guide you back, but she hands one to each of you. She's like, just in case. And she looks straight towards the tent and then hands another one to you, Tatiana, and says, for Valentine.
It's good. Her grasping of items is... Never mind.
Desmond, might I have a word?
Of course.
She pulls you just a few feet away. It's a standard day at the carnival. Hustle and bustle, games, people. You notice that Litwick Market is again growing on the edge of the tent. Inevitably will grow to such a size that it harries them until the carnival has to move again. And Isolde sort of looks that way and just kind of shakes her head and then looks back towards you and says, we have not had much time to interact, but I sense you and I are of a similar fashion.
And how was that?
I was born a child of the forest and took up the blade. I think you were born into the blade and chose to become a child of the forest.
That sounds about right.
But more than that, you are aware of what I have lost.
Yes.
You are also aware of what that loss has driven me to do, what it's driven me to become.
Yes.
When Valentine entered my mind, I was able to peer into hers as well. I have seen this Nika. I have seen the lengths Valentine is willing to go for her. I assume you are willing to go just as far?
Definitely.
She just sort of looks down. I would give anything to have my brothers and sisters back. If a way presents itself to you, take it, no matter the cost. The grief and regret are too much to bear otherwise.
From what I understand of losing, as far as I can tell, most of my family, and what I understand you've gone through as well, that's not even a question. And then he leans in, like, just a little closer, and just
And she leans
whispers
back.
in Sylvan. He whispers in Sylvan. I also found this interesting book that taught me a bit about other languages as well. Thank you for having that here.
She turns and looks at you and she's like, you speak our tongue. Impressive.
A little bit. I've been reading. In our downtime, it's not a lot of it, but I've been practicing, trying to understand a bit more of the world, as it were.
You,
more than many here.
You speak with the accent of a sleepy toddler, but yes, I can make out your words. And she does just kind of clap you on the shoulder.
Part. And then he laughs like, that's kind of the important part. As long as you understand me, I'm happy. I'm happy.
She looks back towards the group and she looks at you again and she says, family comes in many forms, Desmond. Keep them close.
He looks back and just, oh, that's my pack. I have nobody closer.
She just motions for all of you to start walking as she still kind of takes you and guides you towards the mist, Desmond. But meanwhile, while you all see Isolde and Desmond speaking over there, what are the rest of you doing?
Ben has sat down and actually pulled out something to tinker with. And she's trying to figure out how to give this small trinket a bit of energy, a bit of something to it.
What is it that Finn's trying to make?
She's got a locket, something that Isolde gave her that means a lot. And she's kind of mumbling to herself, trying to figure out this cantrip to imbue it with a bit of essence. So something can stay with her while she's in the mess.
Nahara, you notice this little technological device that she's got, that she's working on.
What is that you've got there?
A locket.
A what?
A locket.
A locket?
It's very intricate. It's nothing I've seen in the Underdark of something Isolde gave me.
Is it a keepsake?
Yes.
I don't understand. Is it broken? Are you trying to fix it, or?
Not broken. And I hold it up so Nahara can see it. And I'm give it a spark, a little bit of life.
Oh. How do you wish to do so?
Well, I feel silly. But, a little bit of blood, a little bit of my tears and these souls. And an incantation I'm not quite mastering.
Doesn't sound silly at all.
Finn, as you're holding this here in your hand, thinking about it, you feel the gears and mechanisms inside start to whir a little bit, and you start to hear a quiet humming, like Isolde hums when she's laying just holding your head on her chest. And you can faintly hear her heartbeat, and it starts to play out of the locket. Nahara, you hear it too. Just a very faint, peaceful humming.
And I just smile and look up at Nahara. You sense it too, don't you?
Yes. I think it's very sweet, and I could see how it can be comforting.
Yeah, especially where we're going. Yeah. And, Finn puts the locket on. It's just low enough so it goes under her shirt and her armor. But it's there and it's warm.
When you put it back on, it does feel very comforting, Finn. And a few feet ahead, you see Sol kind of like clap Desmond on the arm a little bit and motion for you all to come. And you can tell she's laughing, which is something that you don't get to see her do nearly enough.
Note to self, ask Desmond about this.
And by the time you all catch up to her, she's standing right at the edge of the carnival. Just past, there is a bit of woodlands, and you can see the ever-thickening mist just past that.
I suppose we shouldn't waste time.
No.
Once more into the breach and all that, yes?
Yes.
Yeah.
We will find my friend and Valentine's friend and Desmond's friend, and we are grateful to have our new companions. When you meet Veronica, you will see it is worth it.
I'm sure
Yes.
3 of you are willing to go to such lengths for her. She is a worthy friend indeed.
And she's quite fortunate to have friends such as yourselves.
It's what anyone would do.
Shall we?
Isolde just stands there and says, I shall see you when you return.
I hope so.
She takes your hand, Finn, and she says something in Elvish. Those of you which speak Elvish understand what she says. This is a crossroads. I do not know what is coming next.
Do you think I'm not coming back?
If I thought that, I would plunge headlong into the mists beside you. I don't know. So much has happened so quickly.
And
yet,
I no, go ahead.
I just feel it.
And I take her hand and put it over the locket.
You have gotten much better with your tinkering.
Oh, I have a good teacher.
We still need to talk about the things you saw yesterday, but not now.
Yeah. But wait for us to come back. And I give her a kiss on the cheek and on the lips. I will return.
She returns both. And she just looks at you all and says, good luck, friends.
Yes, Isolde, I do not mean to impose, of course, but I wonder, could you give this note to Hildy? I just wanted to explain where we have gone, and I also have just this small bag of candy for her as well. I didn't want her to worry.
You are a kind man, Brother Uriah McCulber. I will see that they are delivered, and the child will be well taken care of.
I know it. Thank you.
And she just nods and turns and walks back towards the carnival, leaving you all there at the border of the mists.
Very well. Nahara?
Is everyone ready?
I place a hand on Nahara's shoulder.
All right, then. And I will take this piece of cloth and channel my Mistwalker abilities to take us, hopefully, to find Nika.
As you all walk forward, the mists quickly sweep up around you, and first you see the dancing lights and ambient pipe organs that you've come to be accustomed to being around the carnival. And for a moment, there's nothing. Long moments. You're walking. Are you walking for minutes? Are you walking for hours? Are you walking for days? You can't see much past each other. But you start to hear in moans, in wails, in the clankings of chains. And you can all see in the distance people wandering around in the mist. Some of them are wearing very old, very regal gowns. Some of them are dressed like farmers and craftspersons and sailors, wandering aimlessly. Wait, you could help me. You could help me. You could. And then you step out of the mist, and you're standing on a cliff overlooking a small town, a town that you, Finn, have seen before because the Billness showed it to you. It is on a chalky cliff overlooking a quiet harbor. It is a small town, but it's clearly merchant shops are set up. There's trade and there's people seemingly going about their day. And to the south of the city, further down the cliff, just outside of the city, is a grove of trees. And you, Finn, know that's where she told you Nika was. She showed you the image of the woman walking through these trees. You're completely clear that it's like, oh, it's right over there.
And since Valentine is a bit indisposed, I point over and go, that's what I said for us to look.
Hurry. I'll lead the way.
Did all of you hear and see that? That was so terrible. Those poor people. Is there nothing we can do to help them?
I heard it too.
No.
But perhaps we can help your friend. Perhaps we can help Nika, at least.
Brother Uriah, your ambient divine sense is on fire. You are absolutely surrounded by the presence of the dead. But unlike the electric rush of adrenaline that the undead in most forms give you, this just makes you really sad. Like there is just a crushing pressure to this place.
Ezra's tears, they're everywhere. So many of them. All of them in such suffering. This is truly a terrible place.
However,
all the more reason we must get her out quickly.
Again,
Yes.
On the surface, to the rest of you, outside of being foggy and a little cool, it looks almost pleasant. And you see people, humans, going about their day. And even as you all emerge from the mist, a couple of people turn and look at you sidelong, but not unusually so. And they're doing their thing.
This way, you said, Finn? Yes?
Yes, she very easily is like, yeah, it's right over there. And you all move through the town easily until, as you all are walking through the town, again, a couple of people stop and say hello and things of that nature. While you're walking, they seem fairly pleasant. A couple of people giving you odd double looks, which is not completely unusual because you all are a colorful bunch at best. Even not counting for the near 7-foot ripplingly musculared blue-skinned woman with you, you also have a red-headed woman with black liquid coming from her eyes that is essentially falling down the street behind you as you are walking. And you're like, does she need help or anything?
Oh, she's overly fond of opium. She loves opium.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, some of the sea traders come back with it on occasion. I understand. Yeah.
Do you know where a woman would be kept hostage here?
What?
I'm getting his face.
Idle curiosity. Mm-hmm.
He very much kind of like backs up away from you and he's like, we don't keep no hostages here. No.
Oh, yes. Just a little joke. Ezra be with you.
Is she on the opium too, then?
Oh, just drunk. Ezra, watch over you, friend.
Right.
I make sure my holy symbol is sort of clearly presented, and I'll do like the symbol of Ezra, so that he gets the impression I'm a priest.
You very much hear he goes inside the nearest door and slams it, and you very much hear the clink of a bar being moved into place. But yeah, leaving you all there on the cobblestone streets, heading towards this orchard.
It's very odd. All the living people here, they have at least a trio of spirits following them.
What?
They're dead relatives, I assume.
I'm sorry, what?
The dead do not rest here. They haunt the living, whether they know it or not. They're everywhere. It's almost like an inescapable din.
Do you think he might have been insulted?
Probably
insulted by the hostage thing, and then Tatiana getting very, very aggressive with him. Tatiana, please.
We are here for one reason only. It is to go to save Nika and leave.
Yes,
Why
of
are we
course, but-
dawdling?
Yes, but how do we find the spirit of our friend if we're in a land where everyone's followed by them?
It's not a spirit. She's fine. She's perfectly fine.
Is she?
Valentine saw her, so she must. You can't visit people in dreams if you're a spirit.
That's exactly how people visit spirits.
Okay, well, Lord Seth visit me. He's not a spirit.
He kind of is, in a sense.
Desmond, give me a perception check with advantage.
You know what? Let's not play that. $13.
You hear something. A humming coming from the direction of this grove of trees that Finn points out.
So, Finn, do you hear that as well?
Nope. None of the rest of you hear anything. This Mordent Shire is right on the cliffs, so the breeze of the ocean and the seagulls and all of that is fairly nonstop.
What is it you hear, Desmond?
There's like a hum. Finn pointed in that direction, and I hear a hum in that direction, so I feel like we should probably go that way.
You are connected to Nika. This is why. Lead us.
How close are we to the grove?
You've been moving the whole time. I mean, you see it from the moment you came out of the mist, and Finn's like, oh, it's right over there. It's just kind of on the other side of town. So you're rapidly approaching it.
Once we get within 60 feet of it, I'm going to actively raise my eyes of the grave and see if I can detect anything. Trying to screen out the general white noise of all these spirits.
Brother Uri, it's rough. Give me perception with disadvantage.
And I'm using my observant on this as well.
Sure.
So even with disadvantage, I got a baseline of 22.
It's so hard, Brother Uriah. There's hundreds, possibly thousands of spirits. They far outnumber the living. And they are all over the streets. They're in all of the houses. They're in this grove. But as you concentrate your vision in the grove, you do catch a red-haired woman, and you do hear humming. It is very hard to narrow in on over all of the... Yes, many of them are restless and tormented, but by all means, not all of them. Some of them are going through the semblance of a life. They're still walking up to shops. They're talking to other spirits. Their commerce is taking place. Some of them are standing around talking to each other, just like it's a normal day. And a few of them realize you can see them, and they seem more just sort of curious about it than anything. There is definitely a spectrum of existences these spirits are existing in.
I'm not sure if all of them even realize they are dead. There's so many, but I think, yes, I think I may see your friend, your friend Nika. She's ahead. She is in the grove.
This place gives whole new meaning to Ghost Town.
Yes. The dead shall outnumber the living. Come on, the sooner we're out of here, the better, I think.
Agreed.
Desmond just kind of looks at the group and bolts.
Nika.
Wait!
Nika, as you are making your way through the grove, as you have so many days before, so many days you've lost track of, sort of humming to yourself, what's the song that she's sort of absent-mindedly humming?
It's a song that she's always hummed, even as a child. It's a song her mother taught her that was from her mother's homelands, and it's melodic, but it has this undertone of sadness to it. And having been here for so long, it's influenced what Nika's sort of fallen into mentally. It's not despondent, it's just this quiet pensiveness of a tone, but it's something that Nika has been known to do to calm herself, to soothe herself ever since she was young.
As you're walking through here, you become aware of a presence, which in and of itself is not so unusual. People come to these groves all the time. But you know this one. This one is familiar. It's Desmond. He's here.
The humming would stop. Desmond?
Desmond, you hear her voice coming from everywhere and nowhere, just echoing through the trees.
Nika? I hear you, but I can't tell where you are.
I'm here in the orchard. By the trees. Almost right in front of you.
With a great effort, Nika, you are able to manifest yourself solidly enough for him to see you here in the daytime. What does Nika look like?
She looks drastically different than the bride they had seen. She's actually back to how she looked normally on a daily basis. She's in her green robes. She has her hair simply done and looks far more her druidic self than the bride of the celebration of that infamous day.
How did you? It's a long story. How long have you been here?
I don't know. Oh, you shouldn't be here. This is no place, Desmond.
You're here. So it wasn't really a choice.
No.
Whatever it is you're worried about, it's too late. I'm here. And whatever you are worried about, doesn't matter.
I'm worried about you not getting back out.
In this place?
This place is no place to be. I don't know how long I've been here. It's been months, maybe even years. When I first got here, it was unsettling and confusing, and there are others who are also dead, but they live normal lives, and then the ones who are living live their lives perfectly content half the time, having the undead with them, and others who can't seem to let the undead go. I had given up hope ever since I saw Valentine, but it's been so long.
I feel like I just found what Valentine said recently. It seems like it Days.
Oh, not days. No.
How long ago was that?
Oh,
How long has
at
she
least long enough to stop and start to try and find a new, well, not life, existence here. Long enough to give up on thinking I could get out and finding out more that that's probably not going to be likely, considering what this place does.
What does this place do?
They hold on to their dead with a vice-like grip. You die, you stay in some shape or form.
Brother Uriah mentioned something about people's dead clinging to them, but that's interesting.
Oh. They cling to them like vines on a tree.
Oh, speaking of Brother Uriah, and Desmond kind of looks back and just...
The next one to actually arrive is Tatiana, running full speed through these trees, and you come into a clearing, and Nika is there.
Veronica! And I run full speed to try and lift her up and spin her around and hug her.
When you go and try and put your hands on her, they pass right through her like she's not there.
Again, I grasp at the air like I do so often. Nika, no! Where are you? This is a mirage. You're not really here. You're in a building somewhere, and we will come save you, yes?
Tatiana, I'm here.
No.
Yes.
Look, I can put my hand right through you, Nika. We must bring you back. We'll go back to Kashmir, all of us, now that we have found you.
I don't know if it's going to be that simple, Tatiana.
Are you all right? How long have you been here? I'm so sorry. You must already have answered these questions.
No, it's fine. And she'll look to Desmond. It's been a while. For me, at least. It sounds like a little less for you.
Not sure how long Valentine knew, so I can't really say for sure. I just know that I found out about this recently, but how? He's still just kind of agape. He just watched Tatiana try to pick her up and her hands went through her, so he's just stunned right now.
Nika, you notice at the edge of the clearing 3 other people. A pensive-looking holy man, a beautiful fallen angel, and a pale half-drow, all looking at you.
Oh, them. Our friends, yes, they have helped us to find you. They'll help us get you out of here. Please meet Brother Uriah, Nahara, and Finn.
Very great pleasure to make your acquaintance, madam. Nika, was it?
Nika is fine. You don't need to be formal. Well, you should be formal with some others around here, but for me, just Nika's fine.
Yes, as I say, a great pleasure. We also have, the physical form of someone you're acquainted with. It's currently being piloted by, I'm not sure, her familiar, I think, or an acquaintance of hers.
It's complicated.
Yes.
We should warn you, it's hard to see.
Yes. They're getting better, though. They're getting better at the walking thing. It's hardly...
Where's Valentine?
Just please know that she's all right. Please know that she's all right. Just, she's not fully present at the moment.
Through the trees.
Although please be assured that she's missed you terribly, and your friends here have all, well, you're lucky to have them. They're quite fond of you, and anyway, I just don't want you to be alarmed.
Yes. Do you know Tregram? Have you met Tregram before? I'm not sure when Tregram entered the picture.
Desmond, what's Tregram?
You hear a voice echo through the trees. Yes, apologies, Miss Nika. I don't think Lady Valentine would want you to see her in such a state. But she should be with you shortly, I hope.
This didn't happen because of me. She's not. I told her not to. No.
Are you all right?
Well, I'm a little undead and I'm seeing my friends after so long and I'm trying to figure out what the hell's going on, but everything's fine, thank you very much.
Wait, we thought you would have answers. Do you know what brought you through the mist that night, the night of the wedding?
That is a very confusing night. I don't recall much, to be honest. Last thing I remember was the celebration ending, Armand being too deep in his cups and needing help getting upstairs, and...
Armand, that's Desmond's brother, yes?
My technical husband, yes.
Technical?
Well, he passed out on the settee, and that's truly all I remember.
Oh, no. Consummation is what you're saying is, yes, I see.
Interesting.
Well, if you are currently unaware of your state, looking at you, yes, I'm afraid you are.
I know I'm dead. Trust me.
Well, you're not dead. You are undead, and your lack of a. We saw what happened when the hug tried to happen.
Right.
I think you're. Well, I suppose the technical term would be a ghost.
Yes. There's many of us here.
Yes.
Wait, Nika, I just thought of something. Can you never eat a feast again? Oh, Nika! Tatiana tries to hug her again and then remembers and then gets more upset.
You can't actually do that. Yes, there's a lot of things that you can't do when you're. But in any case, we have sworn to to assist our friends in rescuing you. The problem is, I'm not sure how it's possible for you. Speaking of technicalities, it might be possible to get you out of here. It is said that those who perish in Mordent can never leave, but from what I understand, you did not perish here. Yes?
I don't think so. No, I came out of the mist to here.
Yes, so your actual physical death would have occurred in your home realm of Koshmar, was it?
No, that's even worse.
Well, I mean, it benefits us in this situation.
Who killed you, Nika? Who would do it?
Truly have no idea. I set Armand down. I turned to take care of myself and get out of the ridiculous wedding gown. And then I was walking through the mists and I found myself surrounded by howling and wailing and aimless souls racked with despondency. And there were more and more as I looked around, and I was no longer in Kashmir.
Desmond.
Yes.
Have you told her the whole truth?
I don't know the whole truth to tell.
There's a whole truth?
What do you know?
Well, we don't know anything. All we know is that night you were covered with... it's for you to say.
Armand was covered with blood. We found him.
Where?
In the courtyard of the castle, I believe. And some weird knight showed up, gave her a scar on her back, and
Lord Soth.
yes, and then the mists came in, and then we were in the mists as well. So, if I remember correctly, Armand said that he was covered in your blood.
My blood.
Okay.
Oh wait, or am I thinking it wrong? I was covered in blood.
I thought you were trying to put it on Armand. Desmond, we found you with blood.
That's a very important detail that we should get right. Desmond?
True, just... I refuse to believe that I've done anything. Of all the people that I would injure, that I would harm, that I would...
Calm yourself.
Would.
He did have blood on him too.
The last person that I would injure. And he looks right at Nika as you.
In your heart,
I am hoping I'm hoping in my heart of hearts that it wasn't me. But you've known my capabilities.
Why do you think I gave you the tincture that night?
Tincture?
You drink.
Oh yeah, true. But when have you ever seen me lose control?
With me, never.
Exactly. So, concern, confusion, sadness, rage, all of it. All of it. I experience every night when I go to sleep. Because the first thing, the only thing that I can see is that night. I've been racking my brain for how many months have we been here? How many months have we been roaming the mists? I've been losing my mind this entire time, just hoping for an inkling of truth that it wasn't me.
Then we need to find that out, don't we?
Yes.
Yeah. We do.
Perhaps our first order of business is getting you out of here. Can you come with us?
How do we do that?
Have you been able to leave this grove?
I can move around as much as I wish, quite frankly. This is sort of my routine. I come here in the mornings and touch base with nature as best I can. And then I'll go back into town, and there's a lovely herbalist shop where I've made a friend.
Well,
a rather interesting gentleman.
A friend?
Well, yes. We'll meet in the afternoons. He has tea. I'll sit and chat with him. He's one of the few humans who actually can see and interact with me.
He's alive.
Oh, yes. Yeah, I mean, his son is there too, but I mean, he and I can have conversations. I don't think he knows his son is there, though.
While we are here, I would like to meet your new friend.
I'd be happy to. He actually might be helpful.
Mm-hmm.
Well, he knows things. He's well read and intelligent, and he's traveled. So maybe he might know. I mean, he was the one to first help me when I got here and finally sort of came to terms with everything. That I was more like the mist than the humans around me.
Nika, sounds like you're very fond of this shopkeep. And then Tatiana tries to give her a little hip bump, but it doesn't work.
No, it's not like that. No, Tatiana, he's this doddering old uncle-like person.
Uncle, you say? We've had some run-ins with uncles lately.
Yes, we have.
Well, perhaps we should meet your friend, and if he is somewhat knowledgeable about the ways of spirits and Mordent itself, I would hesitate to attempt to just remove you using Nahara's powers. before we get the lay of the land, as it were.
Right. And,
Well,
if he doesn't know particularly how to help us, maybe he knows somebody who can.
oh, I'm sure Van Richten knows. He's, like I said, he's very well...
What?
What?
Wait, what?
What did
This
you
is
say?
your friend's name?
And there is a good place for us to take a little break.
Oh, Uriah's gonna fan it.
Thank you all. Two real quick things but before we go to break. One, sorry for the tech snafus earlier. Thank you for your patience. Two, Finn is a full drow down here, not a half drow. Three, before we go to break, as always, we have to thank our patrons, which we are our top tier patrons. Thank you all so much. You literally make it possible to do what we do. Aaron Duran, Alan Zozo, Aurelia Roth, Brian Dwyer, a.k.a. Nightsfall, Brian Kepi, Chris Lewis, the Pretzel Bear, Chris Smoot, Christopher Klindering, Christopher Zednick, and a lot of Christophers. You know, this would be like the Council of Ricks, but of Christophers. Craig Savage, David Bonney, Dean Nicole, Donald Scott Massey, Ducati, Philippe C., Forrest S. Moore, Graffumbly, Grizzled Viking, Ian Brooks, Josh Olin, Just Link, Callan Roar, Kira Snow, Kyle Garrett, Lamort Games, Mecha Shiva, Mercy Melunas. That's a great name. That's a new name. Welcome aboard, Mercy. Merrill Harrison, Michael Skidmore, Mr. Owlbear, Nathan Crowder, Nick Bernard, Packery 101, Project Wolf Bear, Reese, Rob, Bacon Garland, Tremarco, Ronan Monkey, Rosie and Sean at Sip Happens, Rum Soaked Chicken, Sin 7, to Queen B, to Nuck and Futz, which is Justice and Kyle Chestnut, Tracer Vision, the Undisputed Baron of Disneyland, and Zort 1. Again, thank you all so very much. We are, hang on, let me check something real quick here. We are, again, this close. How close are we? Let me look, because we $200 away from the next goal of the next full-length adventure. So we're this close, and when we hit it, we will do that. And also, again, we did have the merch snafu. Everyone should have their shirts on the way. So if you haven't heard that something's wrong, it's all good. If we needed your address, we would have let you know. So otherwise, you should be expecting some swag soon. And with that, we will see you all in 8.5 minutes.
Hi, everybody. I'm Chris Perkins. I am one of the principal game architects for Dungeons & Dragons here at Wizards of the Coast. And I want to talk a little bit about our new adventure, The Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Our first 5th edition adventure set primarily on the plane of the Feywild. In the adventure, the players get to visit some absolutely wondrous locations and get into all sorts of wacky hijinks. So what is the Feywild, you ask? It's like a reflection of the world, similar in a way to the Shadowfell is a gloomy reflection of the real world. The Feywild is a more wondrous, brighter reflection. But like fairy tales, the Feywild comes in all sorts of flavors and tones. Sometimes it can be a dark place. Sometimes it can be a very light and whimsical place. What The Wild Beyond the Witchlight does is it kind of shows an archetypal Feywild domain. We don't visit the Feywild in its entirety, of course, because it's vast, but by focusing on this new domain that we've created, this place called Prismere, we can give you and your players a real taste of what the Feywild can be like, and also give you pointers on how to distinguish a Feywild-themed adventure from, say, an adventure that takes place in the natural world. Now, in the Feywild, there are the creatures you expect to encounter, Fey beings like satyrs and pixies and sprites. And then there are intruders that make their way into the domain, or creatures that have been lost there or found their way there because they crossed over from the natural world into the Feywild. And so there's a great deal of range when it comes to the types of encounters that you can run there. But with The Wild Beyond the Witchlight, we really wanted to show you some key aspects of the Feywild. One of the weird things about the Feywild is it's very easy to get lost. Time and space sort of bend there in weird ways. A lot more time can pass than you think, and sometimes there is no road to where you need to go, or the road turns back on itself if you don't know the trick to getting to the end of it. One of the things I'm most proud of is that a clever party can get through this adventure without ever having to resort to combat if they don't want to. That's the first time we've tried something like this in a 5th edition adventure, and I look forward to hearing how that goes. And so in this adventure, we show you how some of the rules of the Feywild work, like the rule of reciprocity and how Fey like to be repaid for the kindnesses that they offer, or the rule of ownership. What do you own and what can you give up? And what happens when you take something that doesn't belong to you? There can be serious consequences for stuff like that in the Feywild.
Hi, my name is Ari Levich. I'm a game designer on Dungeons & Dragons, and for the Wild Beyond the Witchlight, I had the pleasure of getting to work on parts of Prismeer. So, Prismeer is a domain of delight, and domains of delight in the Feywild are these sequestered realms that are ruled by a powerful archfey. These are powerful beings that are native to the Feywild. But something has happened in Prismeer, in the adventure Wild Beyond the Witchlight, in that the archfey, Zybilna, is kind of missing in action. And in her absence, the domain of delight has fractured into these splinter realms. And the splinter realms are Hither, Thither, and Yon. And each one has its own distinct feel based on what's going on there. And so one realm, Hither, is this fetid, dank swamp. Thither is this ancient forest filled, with whimsical trees and all sorts of woodland creatures. And then Yon is this dramatic landscape of mountains and brooding clouds and storms. And so there's this kind of patchwork feel to Prismeer based on what has happened, that in its fractured state, each realm has taken on its own kind of miniature domain vibe. The carnival itself serves as a Fey crossing that could take people from the material plane into the Feywild, specifically into the domain of Prismeer. The Feywild is actually this plane of absolute emotion. Imagine emotion like in Technicolor. Everything is amped up, and it's filled with capricious and mischievous and charming denizens. And it's a place to get into adventures that are a little bit more whimsical in nature, but there's a playful wickedness to the Feywild that doesn't exist in other parts of the Dungeons & Dragons multiverse.
Hi, my name is Kate Irwin, and I'm a senior art director on D&D. I was the art director for Wild Beyond the Witchlight. Inspiration for this book was kind of all over the place. It was everything from Willy Wonka and James and the Giant Peach, that magical adventure sort of feeling, to kind of darker things. All of the maps in the book were done by Will Doyle and Stacey Allen. Will and Stacey worked with Chris early on in the process, so the maps really were a big part of how the adventure flows, and the details that you see in the map inform the adventure, and the adventure informs the maps. It was a very symbiotic process. And then my great luck is that they had wonderful sketches to work from and finalized them into the beautiful maps that you see in the book. We worked on the dice set prior to the book, so I was able to kind of dip my feet into the commissioning of this wonderful place before I really had to go in the deep end. So we did a subset of characters, games, showing some of the different sorts of things that you'll experience when you go to the carnival. And those pieces were in the dice set. So there's a little bit of information about what it's like there. One of my favorite pieces from the Feywild section of the book is actually a chapter opener done by an artist that I've worked with a million times, Kieran Yanner. I asked him to illustrate a bunch of adventurers hanging off of a swamp gas balloon. And the sketch came in and my heart stopped. It made me so happy to see this sketch. The composition, again, he just captured the character so beautifully, but this time in a really active kind of scene. So that was like one of the happiest accidents in this entire book. I just love that piece. My main goal with any project is to put together a book that I'm proud of, pleasing the lead and pleasing the fans. Those are my main goals with any project.
I do hope, on behalf of our team, that you love The Wild Beyond the Witchlight and its satellite products as much as we do. I want to thank everyone who worked on it. A lot of people poured their hearts and souls into this product, their love of the Feywild shining through. And I just want to say thank you all for all that you did.
Standing here in this oceanside orchard as the wind blows in chilly off the coast, Nika has casually mentioned a very important name.
What?
Did you say Van Richten?
Yes, Rudy.
Did you said Van Richten? Then Dr. Rudolph Van Richten?
Yes, Rudy
Yes, you-
Van Richten.
Oh,
Uriah.
He's
That's
here.
who you mentioned.
Yes.
Wait, he's dead?
No, he's quite alive.
He's alive and more the greatest scholar of the paranormal in.
Well, he's very intelligent. I'm not surprised. That's a reputation he may have.
I am such a fan. I am such a fan of his. I followed all of his work. I've read his books. I've read the expurgated versions because, of course, in Darkon there's a fair bit of censorship, state censorship. But yes, he's here.
He's
in
here.
Mordent.
He's here.
Nahara
He's
just
alive and
gently. Nahara just gently takes Uriah's arm by the elbow, just in case he faints from fanboying too hard.
I'm
That's a
all
good
right.
idea.
I'm all right.
Sure?
I've dreamed of this day for so many years. To actually be in his presence, it's overwhelming. Where did you say he is?
He's at his herbalist shop with his son Erasmus.
His son, but his son died.
Yes.
Oh, of course, yes.
Erasmus and I can chat, and Van Richten and I can chat, but father and son don't exactly get to speak to each other.
Wait, dude, why can he speak to you but not his son?
Ghost?
You see, it was his son's death that set his feet upon the path that he follows. His son was taken from him years ago by a vampire.
It's a rather sad story.
It was in Darkon.
It's terrible.
His son was turned.
Yes.
And rather than let it take him, he asked his father to end his existence. But it seems it did not.
Did. Well, it ended his torment in one respect. But it started another.
I see. And the doctor, have you told him that his son is here with him?
No, I didn't think it was something he would want to hear, and Erasmus was more... I'm trying to honor the wishes of one and respect the feelings of the other.
Yes. He's written at great length the pain that the passing of his son caused him. To know that he is here, but to be unable to communicate would be a new kind of torment of its own.
She looks to Desmond. when you can't reach the ones that you care most about, it's no way to exist whether you're living or dead.
Well, luckily, that's not the case anymore.
Brother Uriah, give me a religion check.
Total 17.
Yes. Always being within arm's reach of the ones that you love and not being able to communicate with them would be a very unique form of torment.
I think it's probably best. I hate to keep anything from him, but I think we would only cause him pain by informing him of this. Still, we should talk to him.
Of course. I'll introduce you.
Thank you. You don't know what this means to me.
You don't know what this means to me. And she motions to Tatiana and Desmond. But can I at least see Valentine, please?
You can see her.
She's here. Right there.
Tregram, could you come out from behind the foliage?
You all see, after a moment, Valentine stands there, and she does look like herself. Says, "Apologies, Miss Voronika. I know what you mean to Miss Valentine, and she would be quite cross with me were I to tarnish this moment in any way. She should be back and able to communicate with you soon, but she is well, after a fashion."
Okay, you said she's perfectly all right. Yes, and she turns to Nahara. This is not how she's been all the time, right? This is not...
She does have solid white eyes and black liquid coming out of both eyes down her face as she's standing there.
That only happens sometimes.
But I can assure you that the times that this does happen, she does it willingly, and she's not in danger. She's not harmed. It just takes her a time to come back.
It must have been an important reason. She would love to be here and to see you. It's all she's talked about ever since we knew you might still be somewhere.
All right. And I'm sorry. It's been a moment. And she looks to Fen. I'd shake hands, but
it's
not quite
okay.
possible.
All right.
Your friends have spoken very highly of you. Glad to meet you.
If you help my friends get this far, it's a pleasure to meet you as well.
Well then, shall we to Van Richten's herbalist shop?
Nika, give me either religion or survival, whichever is higher.
Okay. That is going to be... Yeah, that's a 10.
There's something about Finn. There is something in her energy, something in her aura that is familiar. You've only had a handful of guests. And as you start to think about it, there is the imprint of one of your guests is on Finn, and on another of your guests is on Nahara. Almost like if someone had been in a smoky room and they come out and you can smell it on them.
Interesting.
What?
We're connected somehow.
Who?
Valentine wasn't the only one to come and seek me out.
Really?
Truly. Apparently my being here has stirred up interest of a couple others.
Who?
Others I thought were fairy tales. Does the name Strahd mean anything to you?
Unfortunately.
What
is?
He appeared and tried to make a bargain or a deal, saying he could get me out of here.
I'm assuming you didn't accept. What did you say to him?
I didn't say yes.
And your other guest?
Another interesting fellow. Looked a little like truly the undead. Aslan? Is that another?
Aslan Rex.
Well, he did have a crown on, yes.
Both of them?
That's
have
troubling.
contacted you.
Yes, and it's actually something of concern now, especially based off of some questions that Aslan had for me.
What questions?
Artifacts at Kashmar, if anything had been found, things in particular, and quite frankly, if you can get me out of here, I need to get back home because there's something I need to get to make sure he does not.
Of course.
What are you looking for? Because I too am looking for
I would imagine we don't want to know. And then Desmond kind of just looks at Brother Uriah you understand why we might not want to know right now.
Yes, and perhaps I should tell you, in the interest of full disclosure, I've recently discovered shall we say, familial relationship to said king of Darkon.
Just where the uncle thing comes in?
Not uncle so much as parent.
And toes?
Yes.
Toes?
Sort of an unconventional path to existence, but yes. Let's get to the herbalist shop.
I think we need to go see Van Richten.
Yes. I think that's wise.
I think we need to get...
As you all move out of the orchard, again, it is easy. It is just right on the edge of Mortonshire. And you walk down familiar cobblestone streets. Again, Brother Uriah, it requires effort to block out all the voices. So much so, Nahara, you notice his brow furrowed, essentially trying to shut it all out.
Are you all right?
It's just so much spectral activity. It's very disconcerting.
Oh, you must be exhausted. Does that take something out of?
It's all right. I should be able to function properly. It's just like being in a room where there's quite a few people shouting in one's ear.
Right. Well, focus. You're about to meet your hero.
Yes. It's not like I imagined. To meet the great man and know that I have to keep something from him. It's not what I wanted at all. Still, it will be the honor of my life to meet a hero like Dr. Rudolf von Richten. He's done so much to protect these people of these lands, the innocents, and to pass on the knowledge that he's gleaned.
Well, I know that you've been more than helpful. And whatever it is, if he is your hero, then I can only imagine that you'll be doing great things in your life.
I can only hope. if I do achieve anything, it will be because I have stood upon the shoulders of giants such as he.
Just try and focus on that and not on everything else surrounding us.
Yes, there's a ghost walking by carrying its own head. Yeah, there's another one over there. It looks like it probably perished in a fire. It's not very. Let's just get to the shop.
Yes.
Oh, you mean Fred and George?
What?
Yes, you know them?
Yes, they go by this way like every day.
Yes. Yes. Mordent.
You will maneuver your way through Mordenshire, again, Nika effortlessly turning here and there, and you do notice many of the ghosts greet her as she's walking by, and you all do come around the corner and you see a small shop with a plaque hanging outside that says Herbalist. It is utterly unremarkable. You would have no idea that a person of Van Richten's stature operates out of here.
Right, Nika glides right through the door.
I'll apologize in advance to all of you if I babble or lose control.
Do you need a fortifying drink? Do you have your flask?
I'll be fine.
Desmond pulls out his and just, here you go.
I wish to keep all of my wits about me. I don't want to forget a second of this.
This is
You'll be fine, friend. She slaps him on the back. He will be as impressed with you as you are with him.
Nika sticks her head through the door. Are you coming?
Yes, right with you.
Yes.
Should we knock?
And Desmond
knock.
No, he's
Actually, Nika,
I said I had company.
As you look inside, the shop counter is currently unattended. Not completely unusual, since in the back doing something, but as you've come through the door, no one is actually there. But no one comes to look for you because the bell didn't ring because you didn't open the door.
Suppose I'll open the door.
Probably how it works best for all of you, yes.
You should do it, Uriah.
Hello?
As you open the door and a small bell over the door rings out, Uriah, it's the most wonderful place. It's exactly what you'd hoped. There are shelves of books and scrolls, of potions and tinctures and crystals, all manner of ingredient lined up, not just alphabetically, but also thematically, which is a very ingenious system that you wouldn't have thought of.
Oh, it's so organized. It's just so organized and lawful. Oh.
After a moment, as you all stand there watching Brother Uriah breathe all of this in, you all hear a very familiar voice. Oh, hello, welcome to our herbalist shop. And Laurie Weathermay Foxgrove walks around the corner holding a box. Oh.
Look, Miss Weathermay Foxgrove. Laurie, hello.
I didn't
You know her too?
expect to see you all here. She puts the box down and immediately walks to you, Tatiana, and gives you like the broiest. Yeah. Good to see you. Oh, wait, hold on. And she does grab you by the shoulder and rotate you around and look at the black rose and goes, still unhealed. You didn't defeat Soth without me yet, did you?
I would never. Well, I would. I mean, if I could.
Yes,
but
if
no.
you could, yes.
I will need you for that. Also, I have a new curse that maybe you could take a look at. Never mind.
From the back, you hear another curse, and Jennifer comes out wearing an odd pair of multi-lensed spectacles that, again, she can click the lenses in and out that you can tell are for zooming. And she's like, another curse, Tatiana. Oh, hello, everyone. Desmond, hi.
Hello.
In like clockwork, Desmond, when she looks at you, the green vial just slides up.
Just don't you don't need to drink that. Just embrace it. You will love it. Trust me.
All was well so far. Yes, hello. Welcome to the shop. Hello.
Hello.
We
We
should
didn't
have
expect to
known.
see you here.
You said you were a friend of Von Richten. It makes sense you would be here. Is perhaps he in? We have someone who wants to meet him.
If he's
Also on business. Also on business.
also in business, but yes, if he's not too busy.
Lori
Did
just
Rudy
looks...
have to step out?
When you say that out loud, Nika, Jennifer turns and looks in your direction, but Lori doesn't. And she's like, "Oh, I apologize, Uriah. He's away on yet another mission. We're simply manning the shop until he returns. We didn't know you were coming, or perhaps we would have tried to make some sort of arrangement."
Oh no, that's actually it's actually something of a relief. I was so tightly wound. I was. I mean, it's just it's an honor just to be here. But
could I get you something? We have a number of alchemical remedies that could help with the nerves and with the energy.
Actually, I'll just take that. I'll just
libido.
take that flask. I'll take the flask that Desmond was offering earlier. I just.
Take another swig, brother. Take another swig. It's delicious.
After you hit it for a moment, Lori takes it and she goes, to life, and knocks it back too. Like,
smart. What do you think?
Smooth.
Yes, it has a bit of a kick.
It really is. It's my personal brew. So hopefully you enjoy it.
Yes. You see, Jennifer goes from looking right at Nika to looking at her sister drinking after Desmond, like, and then looks back at all of you and she goes, No. We've put all of that to rest. I was quite rude to you. I did not get to properly apologize, so I shall conduct myself differently. I believe in Nika, again, she looks in your direction, but kind of past you. It's clear to you she can't quite see you. I believe you have other company? Nika, you, however, are quite familiar with Jennifer and Lori Weathermain Foxgrove. They do help Van Richten. They are adventurers in their own right. There's times you've been able to get across to Jennifer, but usually it's just like maybe she hears you or something. Like Van Richten usually has to translate. Lori, on the other hand, completely accepts that you're there, but has never given any indication that she can detect you in any way. She's the more blunt instrument of the twins. Jennifer's more the thinker. Lori's more the doer, essentially.
Yeah, they kind of, I'm here, but not exactly.
Right. Yes.
Must be frustrating for you, Nika. Why can I hear you?
Wait, you can see her.
Yes. We all can.
Yes.
You see.
I mean, I can see all of them, but we were hoping to get the doctor's advice. We've come to collect our friend, to take her from here if we can.
Jennifer comes over and stands next to you, Tatiana, and stands up on her tiptoes because you're more than a foot taller than her, trying to get your point of view at Nika. And she's like, "But wait, something changed about you, Tatiana."
Am I taller?
I thought I
more
just
fearsome.
Assumed I just hadn't seen you in as long, and no, you definitely bear additional curses. That is quite curious. And Lori's more curses, but she's like, no, something I sense and she does pick up your arm and your hand and turn it over and look at your palms, and she's like, you have been dabbling in nature magic.
Oh, good. Well, it just. We've been outside, and I'm okay. Maybe.
Good.
So now you become a druid?
I was going to tell you, but there's so much more to talk about.
For all the times I tried to teach you something.
I know, and I just wanted to spar. Well, you're right. There's much that can be learned from druidic ways.
You see, Jennifer goes and just starts grabbing things and mixing them in a vial, and she just sort of shakes it, and all of you see her pupils get huge, almost so big that the whites of her eyes kind of become black, and she looks right at you, Nika, and goes, ah! And shoves the vial towards her sister, who's
I know, she's beautiful. It takes your breath away.
Tatiana, Not now.
Hello, Veronica. Dr. Van Richten has spoken highly of you. I am Laurie, Weathermain Foxgrove. This is my sister Jennifer.
I know.
I suppose you would. Well, this is a curious meeting. You say you all are here to get the doctor's assistance in taking your friend out of Mordent. I don't know how to put this delicately. And Jennifer turns with her already giant pupils through the glasses, like very much look like dinner plates. She goes, "Oh, she can't leave Mordent if she's a spirit. If you die here, you are quite stuck here forever." Apologies.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
Is that she didn't die here.
I died in Kashmir.
Yes. A place that's not even part of this realm.
We're
So
still
she
confused as
arrived
to how she
here.
got here.
How are
Yes,
you here then?
Exactly.
The mists? I walked out of the mist to here.
If you see, Jennifer just sort of takes Laurie by the elbow and she says, "I need to consult with my sister here. Please do make yourselves at home. You have access to the books, to the apothecary. You all are friends and are to be treated as such." And you see Laurie is still just looking at Nika like, wow, that's who'd have thought that you can. And she grabs her by the elbow and kind of just pulls her into the back, leaving all of you alone in the front of the shop.
Well,
Desmond just looks around and just, Finn, what are you doing?
Me?
Yeah.
I'm gonna be straight up, Desmond. I'm really lost. I just met Nika. We came looking for Van Richten and found those sisters that I barely remember.
The
then they
sisters from
made
the
a-
dream that we ended up fighting in the bottom of the house.
oh yes,
Like
of course.
fighting with. Yeah, it was a lot.
Yes.
I'm just confused. I thought I barely remember them. But the fact that they just mixed something and could see Nika.
I'm confused by that, as well as the fact that they just saw all of Tatiana's curses and we can't see any of that. They just knew. So
Wait, stranger
That is
still
true.
is why can we see Veronica?
Yes,
Yes.
I thought about that. I mean, I of course would be able to see her, but all of you can.
I kind of
Did
not
not see
alive,
other ghosts.
Not dead.
Well, that's true.
Maybe it might have something to do with Strahd.
possibly.
He seems
Maybe
to
the
think that
miss.
he, in his bragging, I guess would be the best way to put it, he seemed to insinuate that he's the reason why I'm here, which I've never met the man before. I thought he was just saying it to try and manipulate me.
But that's it, of course. Who else could have brought you from your own realm to here? For
I'm
what
so
purpose?
sick of these powerful Dark Lords always hoarding their power over taking people into the mist and not telling them why.
Well, speaking of which, Aslan Rex, my progenitor, donor, I hesitate to call him my father. My father is the man who raised me, Alistair Colburn. He was a good man. But what was it that Aslan Rex wanted with you?
A very specific artifact.
Just throwing it out there. He just looks at Brother Uriah like,
Well,
should we really
well, Desmond.
understand and know what he wants right now?
Well, the thing is, he already knows what he wants, so we needn't worry about him finding that out from me, if in fact that's the way it works. We still don't know for sure if it is. We might as well...
Tower.
I feel like we don't know that, because if he knew what he wanted, would he be talking to Nika about it?
All right.
Well, he obviously thought that she, well, I can't say obviously, but perhaps she has some knowledge of what it is.
it feels like he wants information from her about the things he wants to find. And he just looks at Brother Uriah and just like, do you really think if he knew, he would be talking to her and just...
Well, that's what I'm trying to discern. Let me ask in general terms. Did he ask you about a specific thing, or did it seem like he was fishing for information? Did he know what he was after?
Oh, he knows.
Oh, all right then. Then there's no harm in telling us what that is.
Do you know what it is?
I think I know.
She looks at Desmond. I
have no idea. And
tell you what
like,
I should know.
Can you walk with me over here for a second?
I can. Well, glide, yes.
Or try. Yeah, that'll do it. And he just kind of like goes like 10 feet away, so that way everybody else can't blatantly hear it. And just, what is the thing?
Oh, wait. Hold on. Uriah pulls out a little doll in the shape of a little fairy shaped like a bell. Better safe than sorry.
And it's like the world ceases to exist, Brother Uriah. The dog that is barking off in the distance. Also the mournful wails of the ghosts, even. All of it. Nothing.
Oh, that's a relief. This is nice.
And he just looks at Brother Uriah and just like, so... Nika, to explain what's happening, he said father in regards to Aslan Rex, but we're thinking more like clone. So it's possible that he is just an instrument, or like he was originally an instrument of Aslan Rex. But at this point, he's fully enveloped in Ezra, and to his benefit, he doesn't want anything to do with Aslan Rex, but he can't really fully understand everything. So he just put that over his ear so he couldn't hear what we were saying. What is the thing Strahd, you said, is looking for?
No, Strahd for some reason wanted to help me, or claimed he was the reason why I was here and not elsewhere. But then Aslan came because he wanted to see if what he had wanted was actually at Kashmar, and it is at Kashmar.
What is it?
It's a crown, a very old crown. It's a crown that my mother's family has been passing around for ages.
Interesting. Does this crown have a name, or?
Raven Queen.
Raven
the crown
Queen.
of the Raven Queen, yes.
Interesting. So Aslan Rex is looking for a crown from our home.
Right.
Did he say why?
No, it was very much a, you do this for me, I'll do that for you, I'll help you get out, and don't you worry about Strahd, and all these people coming in saying they can get me out, and someone has yet to do such a thing. I'm not speaking of all of you.
They're both contacting you to get a thing from home in the hopes that they can get it instead of the other.
Well, Aslan wants the crown. I think Strahd for some reason wanted me.
Why?
I have no idea. I've never met the man.
Dare he?
Desmond.
Sorry.
I know.
Can you imagine how emotional I've been? And that's a weird phrase to use for me. Typically, when I get emotional, I go out on a hunt.
Desmond.
And have a good time. I'm sorry. But this is interesting. I have a lot to learn about a lot of things. And like right when he says that, he just kind of like rubs, like just grabs and starts rubbing the wolf's tooth necklace that his father gave him. I still don't know why he just kisses it and puts it down and just, none of this makes sense, Nika. You've been here for a while. You've had time to think about all of this. Do you have any idea as to why either of them care so much? And why Strahd brought you here?
For Strahd, I honestly don't know. For Aslan, it sounds like that he is very much aware of the fact that Kashmar had And it's not a lie. Kashmir does have its artifacts.
True.
The family's collected them. We know this. We grew up with it. Aslan wants the Raven
had
Crown.
so many of those laying around the house for so long that it's expected.
Remember the one we broke?
We don't talk about the
That
skull.
old bow?
We don't talk about the skull.
No.
It wasn't the skull?
The bow may have been
how many of them
Tatiana
did we break?
Valentine. A lot. A few.
Yeah, it's we've had a lot of history at home, so
Yeah.
it's intriguing that such powerful people want a part of that history. And considering everything that I've seen thus far in this journey, I don't know what to think about any of it. I'm just happy that I get to at least see and talk to you. That actually brings me to the real question that I'm thinking. When he said he could get you out of here, in what way was he planning to do so? Would you have form? Would I be able to hug you again? Would you be able to walk freely instead of glide?
The insinuation was first get my spirit out of here and then see what can be done.
How do we take a spirit from a place that it wasn't originally created? And it...
We might be able to help with that. Sorry, didn't mean to eavesdrop. And Jennifer and Lori come back out, and you can see they're both in their full adventuring regalia. Now, how you met them at the House of Lament. Black leathers. Jennifer has her bandolier of potions and vials and concoctions all over her. Laurie has her studded metal gauntlets and her sword in the sheath. And Jennifer is carrying a very large book. And she says, we have decided that we owe you all in particular. We would still be very much trapped in the House of Lament if not for you. And Laurie turns and looks at Jennifer and is like, and also Desmond help impart certain wisdom upon us. And Jennifer kind of looks down at the floor and is like, thank you for your wisdom, Desmond.
Me? Wisdom? What?
I do not know that I necessarily agree with your words, but I realize they were bestowed in a spirit of brotherhood, and as such, they were received as such. I think you understand that I am still grappling with certain realities. And you see she reaches for another one of those green vials, but this time she does let it go. She doesn't drink it. And she's like, And
Desmond just points at him and just...
I say, everyone, is it all right if I take this away from my ear now?
Yes, brother, you're right.
Yes.
Go for it.
Is that a yes? Is that a
Yes,
yes?
look.
Yes, good, yes?
Laurie,
Ah.
Laurie leans over to you, Tatiana. Why was he listening to a bell?
Don't you know in the mist many things are mystical? This one, it makes you wave at little rabbit people. Or whatever. I don't know. Something different. You can't hear stuff.
I find I now have several additional questions, but Jennifer speaks up again and says, well, sorry, again, if the doctor were here, I'm sure that he would have some brilliant solution to everyone's quandary. Unfortunately, we don't quite have that, but we do know of a way that may be able to help your friend. It is a family secret of which we do not usually speak, but my sister and I agreed we owe you all a significant debt.
What? What do you know?
Our home. We are from here originally, and our family are significant in Mordent. Our mother, Alice Weathermay, is the mayor of Mordent. And you, Nika, know this. The Weathermays are extremely influential in Mordentshire. Alice Weathermay is the mayor, and many generations of their ancestors kind of call the shots behind the scenes, too. Most of those ancestral ghosts are alternatively confused and disappointed by Jennifer and Laurie, the fact that they've chosen to become adventurers, ranging from their disgraces and should be forever stricken from the family record to this is a phase, they'll grow out of it. Eventually, they will settle down and take on their familial responsibilities. But she's at our home in Heather House, we do have access to certain mystical technologies that might be of some use.
What sort of mystical technologies?
You see, Jennifer is really struggling for words, and Laurie watches her do it, and she's like, friends, I don't deny that I really have no head for this side of what we do. I'm more this side of what we do, and she pats the hilt of her sword. But she's like,
right.
But there is a area on our family lands that we are aware there's a laboratory that as girls we were told never to enter, that it is protected and very dangerous. We believe that what's inside may be of some assistance to your friend, and quite frankly, I'm not one to be told where I can and cannot go, especially on my own land, so...
We just have to break into a laboratory, and then we can save Nika?
Jennifer's like, please do not break anything. If assuming it is real, and my mother and grandmother were not ones to speak idly of such things, it would be very old and valuable equipment and discoveries inside.
Oh, something just occurs to me. Is your Uncle George about? George Weatherby? Is he...
Of course you know about Uncle George. You read the book. We talked about Uncle George.
Just what I've read, yes.
I do believe he is in town.
Oh, really? It'd be a great honor to meet him. Desmond, I think that you would have something to discuss with him as well. He's a ranger of some considerable skill.
But I do not think Uncle George would like to talk to Desmond. Brother
Uriah. Right. Yeah.
What did I do?
Yes.
Or rather, other way around.
From what I've read, George Weatherby is he's rather single-minded in his pursuit of his calling.
Keep your temper, Desmond.
Yes, he is a great hunter, and among the things he has hunted have been lycanthropes who have caused great harm to innocent people.
Laurie just speaks up and says, he very nearly married a lycanthrope that was only manipulating him to get to Van Richten. It was a thing. We were not able to destroy the creature, but we defeated her. I'm sure Natalia is out there in the mist somewhere. But perhaps lycanthropy is a soft spot for our Uncle George.
And right then,
right.
Desmond puts his hand on Jennifer's shoulder and just, I understand a lot more about why he just points at the vial. That makes a lot of sense. I understand.
She leans in close where she thinks only you can hear, but the sharp eared of you all hear it. And she says, if I have in fact inherited this condition, Natalia Vorishakova would be the source of it. So yes, it is complicated.
I don't think that's really complicated. That actually makes more sense. That explains everything about how our interactions went initially without you needing to say anything else. Thank you for enlightening me.
You see, she sort of like moves the lenses out of the way so you could kind of see her eyes normally, and you honestly see the faintest hint of tears coming up at the bottom of her eyes, and she goes, I'm glad that I've repaired my previous offense. Shall we move along. I don't know. And she looks at you again, Nika. Says, I'm sure that you are quite ready to depart, yes?
May I ask you something just quickly?
Sure.
I didn't think I would be able to see you here or ever. I have something from your house, and I don't know. I should like to know more about it or how to use it. But if you'd like it back, it's yours.
You've been to
And
yeah.
the house of when we were in the House of Lament was when we first met. But this planchette, I've had it with me.
Oh, a spirit board planchette. You've got that from the House of Lament. Were you able to recover anything else from there?
No. Not me personally.
As a matter of fact, this toe, it was in a muffin.
A what?
A muffin.
We have some clue as to its provenance, but we have no idea how it ended up in the muffin and the muffin ended up in the House of Lament.
Also, categorically wrong to put toes in muffins. I think we agree.
Lori looks at you, Tatiana. She goes, "You ate the muffin, didn't you?"
If you could have smelled the way this kitchen smelled.
I did spend some time in the house. I was aware of the culinary skill of the kitchen ghost. I just did not partake of it on my own. You do know that in general, and I feel like my appetite is nearly as prodigious as yours, eating the food in haunted...
Don't.
Clearly you've learned by now, she says, pointing at the toe. She's like,
put this away.
And Ben is very confused because this all happened when she was not with the party.
We told you about the toe muffin.
I know, but
yes,
it's still...
We don't need to keep talking about the toe. We found the toe. The toe is more important than muffin.
Yes.
Why do you have it still?
Well,
I can think of a number of reasons. It might help you navigate through the mist. It might serve as a talisman of some sort.
I suppose sentimental reasons.
Sentimental reasons? You do see Jennifer clicks the lenses back into place, and she looks at the planchette, and she's like, "May I?"
Yes, of course.
And she holds it, and she looks at it for a moment. She's like, "This is not from the House of Lament. It is not from the lands of the mist at all. Its aura is very different."
Where do you suppose it's from? And how did it get there?
I don't know that I have a satisfactory answer to either of those quandaries, but it feels, actually, and she turns and looks at you, Tatiana, with her huge eyes, and hands it to you, and she's like, "Tell me what you feel on this."
This is silly. I deal with things in the world, things that require smashing. Can I roll for perception?
You don't even have to roll it. When you touch it, it feels fantastic. It feels the exact same way you felt in that vision when you were flying over the green fields and saw the... You don't see anything, but it feels the same.
Oh, Nahara, you've been holding out.
Well, I just nearly forgot about it up until now.
It's so good. I'm flying. I mean, I don't see any bunnies or anything, but I'm flying. I feel the wind in my hair.
Nika, give me either nature or history with advantage.
Okay. That is going to be an 18.
You have absolutely seen a planchette similar to this before. Your grandmother had one. She brought it with her from the old country, Nika. The old country.
Tatiana, could you hold that closer for me, please?
Oh, sure. I stick it right in her face, like too close.
Pull back, just like,
Okay.
6 inches back. Good, now I can actually focus on it. Where did you find this? She turns to Nahara.
It was placed upon a spirit board when we were in the House of Lament.
It was left for you at the crossroads when you approached the House of Lament.
That's correct. That's more correct. Yes, I had found it at the crossroads.
Do we know?
But it became useful in the House of Lament, as there was a spirit board there.
Do you recall that raven fellow, the bird man? Did he have
He's
anything?
where we got the feathers.
Yes. Do you think it's connected to them in any way? I mean, there is as on the real planchette, there is like a raven motif to it. Yes,
there is.
Yes, there is, and roses.
And you do still all each have one of those long black feathers as well.
Yes, we do.
That looks just like my grandmother's.
The feather?
Does it?
Oh,
I didn't realize she was the bird person.
Well, she did have that feather boa, but that's a different story. No, that was my grandmother's.
This one belonged to her?
That is exactly hers. She kept it on her nightstand in her sitting room area. And I would go in there sometimes when I was very young, and she'd tell me how long she's had it and how it came from our ancestral home. And at some point would be something for me to take care of and to protect. And it was in the crossroads?
Fascinating. Then it's likely it was brought from Koshmar when you were pulled through the mists, and on the same night that the three of our friends entered this realm.
Laurie just speaks up and says, "This is all wonderful, but could we perhaps walk and talk?"
Yes, let's do a walk and talk. Let's do a walk and talk. Yes.
She sort of escorts you all out, and she holds the door open for you, Nika, and then thinks, like, courtesy.
I still appreciate it.
She like bows for you to walk out, and they flip the sign to close and secure the fence. And as they walk along, you all can tell they're leaving Mordenshire. They're like, let's go to our house, and they're just heading out into what looks like the countryside.
Uriah will follow them, and he's sort of going to be all along the trip, just sort of peppering them with other questions and just sort of things like, and tell me, what's Alanic Ray and Arthur Sedgwick like? I've certainly read of them, but you've worked with them directly.
We've worked with everyone. We've told them all about you as well, Brother Uriah. About all of you, really, but about a particularly hale and hearty cleric of Ezra. And Jennifer is like, well, Laurie's like, she says hale and hearty. I say brave but spindly.
I am spindly. I am.
As you all make your way across the countryside, what you start to notice is once you get out of town, every once in a while, separated by fairly large distances, you see these huge stately manors sitting by themselves out of the town where all of the wealthy live. Basically within a short carriage ride to the city, but very much removed. Nika, you know this is how it is here. The wealthy do not live in the city. The wealthy don't live in any city. They have their own land and domain that are almost like quasi little city-states that they essentially have their servants commute back and forth to. And sure enough, after a short walk, you do come upon the Weathermay estate. It's beautiful. There are tall, lush orchards filled with fruit. There are people out minding the fields and tilling them. The people here range from very interesting in skin color, from almost midnight jet black, darker than any drow you've seen, Finn, to almost a borderline fuchsia-like pink, and everything in between. But they seem like normal people otherwise.
All human?
All human. Mm-hmm. They smell normal. They look normal, outside of the fact that they're very unusual colors. But besides that, they seem to be normal people. And as you all head up towards the edge of the property, the Weathermay Foxgroves both stop, and they're like, would you mind terribly if we took the woodland approach? If the servants see us, not only do they fawn over us in a very unpleasant way, they will insist that we go and talk to our mother, and then that becomes a thing.
And Desmond's like, I understand that way too well. So yeah, I understand. If we need to go around, so be it.
Thank you. And they do detour into the trees. And again, outside of being sort of chilly, and there is just something here kind of blows up the nape of your neck and makes you shiver on occasion, but maybe it's just the coastal wind, maybe it is the teeming legions of spirits around that most of you can't perceive, but otherwise the land does look nice. Desmond, and now Tatiana, you notice this especially, that other places you've gone to, again, it was pale, plants look kind of wilted, the wildlife was scraggly or non-existent. This seems like a fairly nice place. The plants are abundant, there's game, there's squirrels and things in the trees, birds flying overhead.
I would like to cast Speak with Animals at one of the birds flying overhead.
It flies by and it looks down at you and it's like, oh, hello.
Hello.
You speak my language, you do.
Well, it's similar. It's different. I was wondering, do you see anyone on the house on this side that would see the entrance? If you give a quick glance.
Ah, you're being sneaky, you're. What are you trying to be a boot on the lawns out here?
Oh, you stop it. No one's sneaking. Just a surprise.
Ah, well, there is the wee beastie in the back. I believe he does not miss much.
Beastie?
Aye. We didn't go near it. He tends to strike us down from some distance, in fact.
What kind of beastie are we talking?
The bird comes down and lands on a nearby branch and says, I know it sounds daft for me to say it, but it's invisible. And I'm a bird that didn't miss much with my eyes.
There is invisible beastie behind house. I say this. I say it not in bird speak for the others to understand.
Mm-hmm. When you say that out loud, the Weathermay Foxgroves stop and go, oh, so that story's apparently true.
What is story? Oh, thank you, bird friend. What is your name?
You can call me Gladys. I didn't mean to impart upon you, but do you have a crust of bread by chance?
Oh, of course. Pardon me, it's so rude of me to not offer before, and I find a crust of bread for Gladys.
She comes down to the ground and picks it up, and you all see this fluffy little bird kind of look at all of you and looks at you, Tatiana. Oh, pleased to do business with you. Just whistle if you need me again.
I can whistle so good. Thank you, Gladys.
Flies away.
So there is a tale of a strange invisible beast that lives behind your family home?
We might have mentioned that we were told never to go to certain parts of our land, and that they were protected by an invisible beast. We didn't think it was true. We just knew that no one ever went that way, and after some time, Lori just looks at Jennifer. I researched in the library that there was a laboratory on that part of the land that we weren't supposed to enter. I thought perhaps it had some sort of defenses around it, and didn't think too much more of it, really. I suppose an invisible beast is as likely as anything.
So the laboratory we need to get to. Probably invisible beast. We must get through it.
It certainly seems so. Although, I have the utmost confidence that we, as Weathermay Foxgroves, would not be harmed by any defenses on our own land. Not sure about the rest of you. And Lori just sort of says, but you're competent adventurers. You'll be fine, right?
It would have been nice to have warning, Lori.
We didn't think it was real, and we didn't think to ask a bird, Tatiana. Well done there, by the way.
What manner of creature is this meant to be?
You know what I know, Brother Uriah, and Lori loops her arm through yours, and she's taller than you. Lori's about 6'2", and just sort of like, well, onward to meet it then, and just kind of like happily trudges through the woods, kind of with you in tow.
Nika, did you see? You are druid, so you know how cool it is to talk with animals, yeah?
And you chose a very good animal to have a conversation with. Birds see everything.
You know, it was you that inspired me.
Well, I'm just glad all that poking and prodding when we were kids finally paid off. What did you shape into yet?
Oh, okay, so most fearsome tiny beast you can think of?
Chipmunk?
Close. I was a squirrel.
Oh, that's even better, yeah, because you get the floppy tail.
Yeah. Also, I know some squirrels, and they are very intense.
That's a squirrel thing. Mm-hmm.
As you all make it through the woods, just kind of on the periphery of these lands, you see Lori and Jennifer very much navigate through here expertly. They know where to go, where to move. Like it is, especially to you, Desmond, having spent a lot of time in the woods. They know these lands. They grew up here. Every once in a while, as they'll pass by a tree, they'll kind of like rub it lovingly. You might see like a small carving of Lori and Jennifer with a heart on it and things of that nature. They even stop and kind of throw out handfuls of seeds and things on the way around, and they're just very at home until they come to a part of the land, which would be basically the northeast corner. The ground is still kempt, but it is more overgrown than the other ones. There are bushes and things that are up on the ground that probably once was a maze hedge that has sort of been left to its own devices, almost like it has been kind of quartered off. The absolute minimum has been done to tend to it. And they stop. They're like, well, if my research is correct, the entrance is right over there.
It's your land. Aren't you going to lead us?
Yes. Just stay close. And if you see any invisible beasts, such as it were, I suppose, give a shout.
Did you say if you see an invisible beast?
I realize, even as I said it, that it doesn't make much sense, but the bird seen something, right?
Yes.
Hold on.
Perhaps
I
we
think
should take
that maybe I could help. And Tatiana starts to rub her hands together, and as she looks at them, she focuses and closes her eyes, and they turn into that like animal dark brown that they did before her very first spell was diffused by her own shadow. And as she continues to rub her hands, she pulls them out, and a bright green light emanates, and I want to cast Fairy Fire. It would outline in green any creature in the area.
You drop this fairy fire right in the middle of the hedge, and right on the end of it, you all see something. There is a small hunched figure maybe 2 feet tall with long clawed hands that is bent over looking at you, and it looks down at its hands and it's like, "Ah, my lord, you've come to visit and I've been so easily revealed."
I shall cast protection from evil on myself.
You all
Don't
see,
die.
it sort of looks around. I might. It's too evil. Now I have to sneeze and it won't come.
Yes. Get it done. Here comes another one. Close.
There's usually 3. As you do the protection from evil, it recoils slightly and it's like, "My lord, please do not forsake me a second time." And it is talking to you, Brother Uriah.
Stand. Who are you?
Have you forgotten me, Tintalus? Your servant, I ventured here with you. And Count von Zarovich in times long past. You left me behind to guard this place, which I have done.
Oh, yes, I did do that. And now these are my companions. They shall be allowed to pass, as well as me.
My lord, you have made peace with the Weathermay Foxgroves. Von Zarovich might frown upon such an alliance. They are known collaborators with Van Richten.
They are under my control, yes.
See,
now,
Weathermay Foxgroves look at each other, and Lori looks like she's about to say something, and Jennifer elbows them and is like, "Yes, we must take him to our ancestral laboratory."
There you see, Tintalus? You see, my servant? You see, now, make yourself useful.
I exist for nothing else, my lord. Might I impress upon you one humble request?
What is that, my servant?
Please ask your sorcerer to drop this accursed spell. I sparkle and shimmer horribly.
Make yourself visible to their eyes, and it shall be done.
And in front of you, now you all see what looks like a glowing little lizard person. It's an imp. It looks very similar to what Franz Alhonen had with him. It's not the same creature. It's definitely of a type, though. And it hops along the hedges, and it's like, "Shall I get the door for you then, my lord?"
And as Uriah gets a little more into character, "Yes, do so."
You see,
I drop Fairy Fire.
it sort of like moves some bushes away, and there is a trapdoor in the middle. And he hops back, and he's like, "Might I be allowed to depart with you when your business is concluded? I've been languishing in Mordent for so very long."
We shall see. Do not forget your place, creature.
"Yes, my lord." And it slides backwards as Jennifer just says, "Yes, let us reclaim our ancestral laboratory for you." Comes over and opens it. And when she opens it, she looks down and visibly goes, and starts going down the stairs. Lori looks.
Send a message to
Lori-
Uriah real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, just sending a message to Uriah real quick. That was very impressive. I didn't know you could be so sneaky.
Yes, well, I realize that this thing must think that I am Aslan Rex.
He sure sounded like him.
Yes. Well, I've heard it from inside my own head. His voice, I mean.
Oh, we've heard it too. From out of your mouth.
Yes. Yes, let's hope this ruse proves successful.
Lori puts her hand on her sword and leans over to you, Tatiana, and she's like, so we're not dispatching this horrible creature.
Believe me, it is all I want to do. My swords have not had blood in so long.
I know that feeling. And she does sort of like go down the stairs after her sister, which presumably the rest of you do as well.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Underneath, you do find an old laboratory. Not so different than what you saw in Falkovnia. It has... there are scrolls all over the walls that are old and frail with time. You'd honestly be worried about opening them up without just having them crumble completely. And there is a small device, very similar to what you saw in Blutspur, but it looks far more reasonable. There is a bed. There are a system of tubes, but far less. It looks a lot less cruel than what you saw in Blutspur. And
if only Valentine could see this.
Well, I suppose in a manner of fashion she can't. I will relay it to her. I actually think she might not want to know some of this. And you see Tregram reaches up with her hands and shuts her eyes. And he's like, I can't do this for long, of course. I do require her ocular inputs to navigate. But Jennifer...
Uriah just says to the imp, tell me, Tintless, this place has remained undisturbed, has it?
By your will, yes.
Yes. Yes. Tell me, has there been any sign of Firanz Alhonen?
Not in many, many years. I believe he came into Mordent searching for it at one place, but he was unsuccessful.
Good. Yes.
Jennifer looks over at you, Nika, and she says, this should allow you to depart Mordent, but, the equipment is older and more rudimentary than I'd hoped. In order for you to leave, I will need to bind you to an object.
Oh.
The binding can be reversed later, of course.
Well, if that's what's needed to get me out of here and get everyone else out of here, more importantly. All right.
The second she says, all right, Desmond takes his rose tooth necklace.
When you start to even take it off, Jennifer reaches out and pushes it to your chest, and she says, not that, and not now.
What do you know of this?
Not now, Desmond. One crisis at a time.
You know something I don't know.
I know a number of things you don't. I don't know how long we're going to have down here. Pick something.
Okay. Not now.
What about the handkerchief?
Wait.
Or the planchette of your grandmother.
Jennifer looks at you, Nika, and she's like, what do you wish to be wedded with after a fashion?
Desmond's sword.
Okay,
See,
well.
wordlessly, he reaches back, grabs it, and held first, hands it over.
Jennifer takes it and looks at it, and she says, well, time for some adventurous experimentation, I suppose. And that is a good place for us to stop. We'll see you next week.